finished solving those. And hey, everyone, welcome to the GDCy YouTube channel. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here with us today. It's probably the first, I don't know if it's like the very first live session on the GDCy channel, but at least for me, it's like the first live session in years. So I feel kind of nervous as hell. What about you, Dmitry?
I can understand you completely. Yeah, it's also for me kind of first broadcast, but yeah, first one was with you, like previous, but yeah, it was a kind of different experience. So yeah, here it's my first time, and I'm going to sit in here with you and discuss anything about AI and mobile ads.
AI, yeah. So have you ever heard of AI? I think this is something that has been on the market for a while. There are plenty of those videos with these huge companies and their CEOs sitting on the stage and talking about AI. We're leveraging AI, we're changing the world's economy and stuff and so on. And we're just like, okay, what if we use it for ads? Or memes, actually. But yeah, anyways, hey everyone, thank you very much for having us today. We are about to talk about the mobile ads and creatives in particular. So here today are two brilliant people. My name is George. I'm with the Borscht. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer. We're a performance marketing agency doing ads for mobile games. And there's actually Dmitry. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself, or should I do this?
I can do, yeah. Hi,
Hi,
everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Averkiev. I'm from Belka Games, and I work as a creative producer. So my job is just lead whole production of mobile ads for our products, and also implement some AI tools to improve our production and make some new interesting stuff.
Yeah, and not just the Belka Games production, but I wanted to say first that Dima is the owner of, I think, one of the biggest Telegram channels about the mobile ads and AI implementation. So it's I really recommend it, guys. I think during our today's speech, I will definitely highlight his Telegram channel so you could follow and see some cool memes he's doing with the Royal Match.
Memes, yeah. Also,
yeah. So anyways, let me get back to what we have today, which is called How to Train Your Dragon, an actual way to implement AI on each state of creative production stages in mobile games marketing. And we're going to actually say a few words about what AI means in the sense of mobile marketing, how to use it, how we use it. And I would say there are several cases of some successful implementations of AI we're about to discuss today. So my goal today is to share my experience. Dima, your goal probably is to criticize my experience and add some of yours. Yeah, but still, anyways, yeah, guys, this is an online presentation. It goes live together with you. We're about to discuss a very nice topic. And if you have any questions about the AI or stuff about the mobile ads, please come and join us. I have my chat being here on my phone, and please feel free to drop us any comments about what do you think of AI, or whether we are going to die and leave our jobs jobless become, or everything going to be right. In any case, we're waiting for your questions during this conversation. But first of all, let me click on this site. Let me do the introduction. Like we said, my name is George and there is Dima. There are two pictures of us. We've already introduced ourselves. I decided to have some AI being involved into this slide, and I decided to imagine ourselves as heroes of our favorite games. For myself, I chose Clash of Clans. For Dima, I chose, it is like Royal Match, right? So I'm always confusing those two games by trAIn games. Is that Royal Match and Royal Kingdom, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so this is probably a Royal Match. All right. So why are we here? The answer is obvious. So the AI is breaking into user acquisition world, and it's a booming trend nowadays. Many companies, of those we are working with, of those we're talking to, of those we are hanging around at the conferences, including GDCy, are talking about AI, are using AI, and we just want to share our own experience with how to do this properly. Because as for my perception, many companies do this wrong, just like on this picture. What is your experience, Dima?
So, by the way, thanks for building this presentation. And secondly, can you please share that in Google
In the
Meet?
Go,
Because
oh
I
my
don't.
gosh, right.
So I can
Yeah,
see that
I forgot.
in
Sorry.
page, but it will be much more useful.
Sure. Let me do this share screening. Share my screen anyway, of course. Ooh. There we go. There we go.
Nice.
Now you can see my screen.
What was the question? I forgot it. Sorry.
I just wanted to discuss with you this picture. So probably my whole idea of this conversation is that I see that many companies currently using AI just simply by using this two-step approach of when you have a ChatGPT or you have like Kling or any other video generation models that simply are being approached by, hey, we have this game, please do something. And then boom, they have some mediocre results. So what is your experience? Do you have any other experiences from your peers, your colleagues, your friends in the industry?
Yeah, of course. I see a lot of examples from in other games, and I saw like try to understand how can we use it, not only just for making our pipelines faster and more effective, and just cheaper, because we know how to do that. We know how to generate pictures in ChatGPT or Midjourney or Kling or ideogram, everywhere. We know how to improve that. We know how to generate some new videos and UGC, and we can make something new. And that part of using some new AI tools, I like much more, because it gives us opportunity to create something completely new and unique, which we never see before. So yeah, that means that we have to explore some new ways for using AI, and I guess we will talk about that in this presentation. Of course, it's not only about ChatGPT and Klingai and Runway. It's much more. Especially for sounds, we have great services, and we'll also talk about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let me go to the next page. So here's a little agenda for you guys, what to expect. We're about to discuss a step-by-step way on how to approach AI UGC workflow. This is something that I'm responsible for. An in-house recipe on implementing AI into creative testing. This is something that Dima is willing to share with you guys of his experience with Clockmaker. And of course, a very needed Q&A session if you guys have any questions on like what are the results in performance marketing? Do you have a lower CPI, or like how's the ROAS going with the AI implementation? Or do we have some, I don't know, legal infringements or so with using AI? Of course, we do not know any answers on those questions, but still we can discuss and pretend that we're experts. So yeah, basically, let's get into that. First of all, a short answer on what is an AI in the sense of creative production for very fast guys who are always rushing somewhere. In my opinion, AI is best for those type of things, like, of course, hooks for ad creatives. This is what we see like hugely being used by many big companies, just simply using their top performing ad and implementing the first 3 seconds of an AI doing something with their ad, and then there's the gameplay and call to action. The second one is a full body AI UGC, which is being showed there in the second picture, where you have a feeling of something happening within the game. And there's also this atmospheric fake ads, mainly being used by those Forex strategies and big mid-core RPGs, where you pretend that this is kind of a, I don't know, a CG or a movie inspired by the game, but it's actually not. So what is your take on that, Dim?
Here I completely agree with you. You're right about these points, and I also can add some that I like some cases when we just recreate some reference from movies, and it's not only about our clockmaker case with Kings. It's also some interesting cases when someone just copies some popular scenes from Pirates of the Caribbean or The Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
It's so great to use it because when your lore, your setting, just have some common sides, you're just so brave to copy something, and it will be not just copy. You will not use exactly the same frames. You just recreate it with AI, and it will be so safety to use it. And you can recreate music, you can recreate characters and settings. So it looks like popular scenes from some TV shows, but it will be not. And so that's a perfect. And also I can add that one of interesting criteria, one of the most important criteria of these creatives, it's that it's almost impossible to create it before without AI, because it can be so difficult, so expensive. So exactly that example with the king.
I mean, like you have to spend a lot of time finding this fit old guy, trying to make him dress like that, and like having this interview. But with the Hagen or like any other AIs, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's that's by the way, it's my example from my channel, and I made it for 30 minutes. It wasn't so hard, it was so easy. So the main idea that if you create something completely new, if you have this idea now, it's great time for using some AI tools for creating some unique ideas, and I so love it when we talk about AI in marketing.
Speaking of those two examples that we see currently on this slide, do you think that this is something that is interesting and effective, particularly for, say, casual games, or should it be used like, doesn't matter what the genre is, whether it's a hyper casual game or a mid-core? So do you somehow separate those genres for, say, if it's a hyper casual games, there is this strategy. If there's a casual game, there is this strategy, and so on. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it can work for casual because there are some different strategy for advertisement for casual games where you can show just directly your gameplay, and in most of the cases we just see just screencast real gameplay. That's the point. So about these cases, I guess it can work for some games with interesting lore or settings. For example, if you have a setting with the knights, or I don't know how we can see that with a Kingshot game.
Oh yeah.
So the second and the third one is from Kingshot, and they test a lot of UGC and CGI creatives. It can work, and also it's great for in games with some settings like post-apocalypse, no matter which, because you can just find and just more popular examples and reference from market or from media, TV shows, films, movies, and just implement it and recreate. So yeah, mostly it's as I understand it, it works well for some not hyper casual games, just for games with some lore in which you can translate through these interesting creatives.
Okay, I see from the chat that the guys are requesting us to move this Google window so we could show the examples. So guys, I see you, I hear you, and I will try to move it from slide to slide so you can both see the text and the pictures. This is something that is possible, and thank you for your feedback. All right, let's move on. Not so fast. Let me hide you for a little while. This is where I'd like to talk about the implementation of AI in the sense of UGC. So what we think of UGC is obvious. I mean, UGC ads, they bring us good results when it comes to having user acquisition strategies on those channels like TikTok, for example, or Snap, right? And there are some cool numbers that I highlighted here, that it brings you 4 times more CTR or less than 50% of CPC. That depends on the generator, of course, on the games, etc. And the main point here is that the UGC content in itself is something that is there and that is have to be there for a while for us. Because of the platforms, they favor native looking content. They do like when people share their experience, and the players, when they see someone sharing their own experience of the game, I suppose this is something that brings trust, right? So at least from my perspective, the UGC content is really cool for, first of all, it's easy to be produced. The second, it brings trust by sharing the real experience of another player. And the third one is that it can be simply used for refreshing what's already working. And this is what we see mainly used by like casual chatter, for example, where when there is a good top performing ad that is already providing them huge ROAS, and then they just simply kind of try to bring it into life for a longer period of time by having this streamer talking about this game. And it's, on the one hand, it is in another ad creative, but on another hand, it's just like you have this footage of a streamer and the footage of a game being combined, boom, you have another ad. Completely easy to be used. But the problem here is that, as to my sense, why we should do AI UGC is that even though the UGC content is quite easy to be produced, it's complicated to be controlled. Because of that, let's say you need to have something like this, something bold, right? A person wearing a Roman Empire, uniform of a soldier, trying to share their experience that he's so into the game, so into the strategy game, so he could being hooked, and that's how he's like playing this game for hours and hours and hours. And this is something that is quite complicated to be produced with a real actor. And what's more interesting, if this idea is going to perform and you want to tweak it somehow, you might feel problems with, like replacing the character, say giving him a different nationality, or trying to switch the background, or doing something else with this creative to kind of squeeze it a little bit more. But when it comes to AI UGC, the sky is the limit. What do you think about that?
I saw like how UGC now looks after we saw a new VO3 model, and it's so easily to produce now. And yeah, as you mentioned before, it's have finally control making UGC creatives, and I really like it. I really impressed how quality rise now, because we can see as a result it's a video with a voice, with emotion voice. It also can add some sound design. That's amazing. And the most interesting idea now that because when we use this control, we can create not only just surprisingly interesting characters like this wearer, or I don't know, Santa Claus, or I don't know, King Kong, which play in huge mobile. Also can be great for TikTok, for example. But if we're talking about our target audience, if you have an idea how it looks like, I don't know, it can be middle-aged man or woman, so it can be child, or it can be businessman. You can create some UGC with character which looks like exactly like this character, and it can increase chances for trust this character, because for your target audience it will be someone closer who looks like them, who can think like them, and they can understand why it's game so cool, for example. And I like this opportunity using AI. We tried that with our projects, but it wasn't so well, because was last year, and we hadn't.
The technology wasn't so good the last year, right? We didn't have the Google Veo 3. We had like Runway, and there was like, as a neurologist, I play this game every day. And
we just create a picture, and it wasn't so well as we can do it now, and just try to add lip sync from Runway or in other services, and it's looks sometimes messy, but this was interesting experience, and that's so we're gonna test again.
Mm-hmm. And I would say from the business perspective, and I'm always about the business perspective actually with the creative production, obviously because it's our business, this is something that can help you test real quick whether the UGC format is something that is suitable for you. And what seemed to be a problem for years before, say, if you already know that this UGC content is something that can drive your user acquisition strategies. Okay, so you get these numbers. You see like the CPA drops, the ROAS grows. So what are you going to do? You have to have an agency, or you have to have a pretty damn big team to kind of like manage those hundreds and hundreds of people out there on Fiverr or other platforms where you can simply give them briefs for making those videos for you. You have to control everything. You will always have this unpleasant situations where this creator simply disappeared, ghosted you, or didn't provide you a good quality video because of he slept or was drunk or was something else. So it's like there's always a human problem that is out there. Because of that, you're trying to implement a human touch. That's what a UGC is made for, right? But yeah, like humans make mistakes, unfortunately. And this is where, when it comes to pretending to be a human, AI UGC is it just never does any mistake, and that's kind of like a very, very cool feature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I had an interesting idea that it's easy to work with AI. So when it makes some mistakes, of course it's AI, because it's AI. It's easy to give a feedback to AI model, because, for example, if you're working with the people, first feedback was okay. Second feedback was, you will think, maybe it was too much. Third feedback, it was so hard, and we will not talk about the third one. First one. So yeah, when we're working about with LLM models or another AI models, so it's you can just give 10,000 feedbacks and
just so do it better evil. Like this.
It's working now, and this work. You have no limits to change some ideas, completely change some ideas, and it will still work. And I really like that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like I'm a huge fan of AI these days, and yeah. So this is where we comes into the water of what we do with our team. So this is actually a real recipe of how we're gonna cook each AI UGC within our team. And this is something that I want to share with you, because of that seems to be working way better compared to simply dropping this 1-2 sentences prompt into GPT and pretending that you're a pro. I will go over each step and highlight the idea behind it, but simply the way we usually approach that is just like that. First of all, you better prepare the product knowledge, because of what seemed to be working for us with those LLM models such as ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or many others like DeepSeek we are currently using, is that they seem to be not that effective as a real professional when it comes to bringing you the context. Because of, let's say, if I put you, Dima, and the ChatGPT into 2 chairs and I'll ask you about mobile games, probably on the long distance you will tell us a little bit more about that. And a little bit more effective they'll be the output of our conversation with you rather than with the ChatGPT. But what seemed to be working pretty damn well with those AI tools is that if you provide them the context, they can work with this context and iterate that on something new. And what we decided to do with our team with the ARE GDCs is that we have this size of a prompt of analyzing the game first. And I will share with you what are some steps we're analyzing the game on the later slides. We're saying hey, ChatGPT, this is a game. This game is probably made for someone for some certain reason. And I want you to deeply dive into analyzing its store page and trying to understand for what audience does this game work the best. And once it can be rather a store page, it can be a huge 50 pages doc of about this game that is always there for ongoing projects, because of when they work with an agencies, they outsource a lot and they have to have this knowledge to be shared so they could be onboarded quick. And once you have this doc implemented into ChatGPT, trying to deeply analyze it from the marketing perspective, you have this very product knowledge that you then can merge together with a human data of what is working out there for this genre. So basically what we do in the second step, after we approved everything we agreed on, we have this knowledge of a product combined with this database of working hooks and ideas currently performing for this particular genre and just simply on the market. So if we're talking about RPGs, for example, what seems to be working currently is this slingshot and gates approach. Obviously, it's booming on the market. If you're talking about casual games, it's when the character is being put into a danger with those pebbles falling from the sky and he's trying to stop them, and you play this match 3 game when you eventually fail, and so on and so on. So for each and particular genre out there in mobile games, there is a certain number of trends that can be merged with the data for a product. That's basically what a creative producer does in his brain, but being done by an AI model. And then based off that, you combine a list of top creative ideas, pretending that you're a creative producer, that can be then thoroughly checked by a creative producer, chose, and then put into those video generation models. And the very last step is obviously then once you have those generated videos, you have to have a motion designer to kind of tweak and clip and do everything so that they could look smoothly. I suppose that this approach is nothing unusual. This is something that is basically a creative producer does in his brain and does repeatedly daily. We're just trying to to explain to the AI how it's done. And I think the major step in this strategy is the first one, the product knowledge, the way you approach it. And this is where I can show you the next slide and to explain how it can be done. So what we basically decided to do with the product knowledge is that, like I've said, we have this legacy of knowledge for the game that can be rather taken from the store page or from the doc, internal doc of this is a match 3 game with long-going meta that is about a bald person who decided to have his own mansion out there with a huge garden, and you have to play match 3 so you could redecor, and this is very cool because he has a cat and blah blah blah. So all of this knowledge is accumulated in the doc. Then it's being analyzed through at least 10 to 20 different marketing fundamental books and researches on the archetypes of players, on their motivation, on how they approach who they are basically. And because of the merge of those two things, you can eventually have the very doc that says, okay, this game is probably about achievers whose main goal in this game is to get as many resources as possible. And their main motivation here is to loot and collect the resources. And probably a little bit, for like 15%, they're also killers. And they can collect those resources by PvPing with some guys and so on. And so because of that, you can understand those pain points. Marketers are always about pain points, right? We want to manipulate people, so that's why we are into this profession. And once we understand those pain points, once we understand why these pain points matter for our audiences, we can then speak to those pain points by introducing them into UGC content. And that's how like those ideas for the Roman Empire soldier are being created. The next slide is all about those major fundamental books and researchers we are currently using to put our games through those. And I don't know, Dima, if you had any of those books in your library, do you have anything that seemed to be...
No. I know about these books and some theories, and so it can be really interesting for using that. So, yeah, I have some thoughts. Yeah, let's first you just end your idea.
I kind of like can summarize the whole idea is that all of those marketing or psychology researchers out there, they seem to be existing for just one purpose. There are like 8 billion people out there in the earth. Each one is unique. Each one has their own habits or thoughts or goals or motivations, something that makes them get up every day, and so on and so on. And if we try to have something built for each and everyone, we can get crazy because it's impossible mathematically, unfortunately, at least now, with our technologies. So all of those marketing and psychology researchers out there exist for the only person to kind of like group people into some common groups. So those people, killers, really like the being competitors. They like being into trying to rival each other and so on. Those achievers, they want to munchkin something. They want to collect resources. Those explorers really like this open world things and so on and so on. So there are like types of people. And once you have only one book, it gives you one perspective on that. And if you have 10 books, you have a huge, bigger perspective on everything, through which you will get your game, understand better for who it's done, and then implement it into the AI UGC brainstorming session. And because of that, you can generate those ideas at scale without any creative critique for your producers, and way more faster than them simply, using some spy intel and trying to bring something out of your expertise and something that used to be working in the past. So that's kind of the idea that we implement to have those ads. And this is where I have a real quick example for you that I did myself. I'm not a creative producer, not in a small part, but still what I decided to do is that I took the store page for Dream Games, your favorite one. I decided to analyze it through our approach, and this is a short piece of analysis on the roll match game. There is a concept that seemed to be the best for me, and what it brought us was this idea. I really did it like for 5 minutes of the time. I decided to have this Google View 3 model worked for a streamer for me, and then it's boom, simply one of the top performing ads for them. And this is where I see the potential. This is where I see that the AI UGC can be done properly, because of that. Once you have the very best context being put through an analyzing model, then through a creative producer, you'll have the better results rather than just having this purely generated woman sitting in a car or something like that. So yeah.
So I really like that approach, and I like the idea feeding enough information about marketing and creatives and audience and game to the LLM model to analyze that and giving you some ideas. And I guess it can work for UGC hooks because, for example, you can't find enough information. You can't describe all information about gameplay, especially for each genres, for each games. It's almost impossible. And so yeah, I like this idea to use this approach for hooks, and you can see how idea for hook can match with gameplay and this game. I'm interested how you use these books and this approach from previous slide, because it's also huge context, like from these any books. And I guess if you just have a list of these books and ask ChatGPT, for example, use this book for analyzing our audience for this game, it can lose a lot of information. It can just use the main ideas, like few sentences from each book's maximum, and sometimes it can be not enough. And I think you can create kind of summary in each books. What do you think is more important from each books for using to analyzing target audience for any games? Kind of universal rules for LLMs, and then you just can feed these like 10 short ideas from each books, which LLM can use for this research. And it can work a bit better because you can control which information from these books LLM will use, and if it will so huge context, it's also possible. I can recommend use Gemini because I know that it has much bigger context window for it's almost infinitely huge, and it's easy to work with some huge amount of information. But I like how ChatGPT think and use information. So you can just be more confident using like not default for all model, but maybe 03 or 3.0 or 3.0 Pro model if you have a Pro plan, which sounds very impossible. So it's cost like 200. So it works well. You will see how it's think like 10, 20 minutes and then give you some much better results than other models. But so yeah, in common it will be the same pipeline, and I like how you describe it, and I really like that you ask chatbot describe all these points like game summary, player psychology, because if you will just give you some ideas, it will be much more simple. And
it is always the context, right?
Yeah, because this model will reuse this information from this message and give you much more interesting ideas. So yeah, I really like that approach, and I guess it can work for UGC hooks or just UGC or just not UGC hooks. For example, it can be interesting for just short story for creatives. Cool.
Yeah, and I think this is where we should go further to your example, because obviously this is another strategy of how to use AI in the creative production. This is very interesting for me to kind of understand the logic behind the production process for this ad. Surely I will show it with you guys. With no sound, because it is really, really interesting. This is where we actually speak about these references on those very famous movies and how they can be used in the sense of ad creatives. When I firstly saw this ad, I was like, whoa, it's like the feeling of this ad is like if a Ready Player Me could be a Match 3 game ad. There are like so many references for the movies, for this very famous pictures, like frames for those movies. And like Here Comes the Johnny, or like this hole from the Shawshank's movie, and so on. It's really, really nice. So could you kind of like, in a short sentences, explain the whole idea behind the production process for this ad? Why, when, where, and how?
Yeah, we have a kind of two tasks in this video. We want to use a lot of reference from King's movies, and secondly, use a lot of AI tools as much as possible. And that was kind of our first experiment for making full video by using AI. It's not fresh video. We started work with that like in December last year, so it's why it looks like not like a VO3, of course.
Of course, yeah. But
now,
it's not
yeah,
a VO3 video, right? It's what was like Runway or Kling AI.
Runway, Kling AI, yeah. Some tools which we have this time, had with this time. So the pipeline was really interesting. We didn't saw that before in the marketing. We didn't create something like that before. And first, I just asked ChatGPT, gave me a lot of examples from King's movies to just analyze what we can use. And I kind of create a mind map for myself for seeing what we have to use. And then I just put it in one line to understand which things will be step by step. Can be first step, scene, second scene, third scene. ChatGPT helps me with just giving examples. And then, yeah, I create pictures in ideogram, and I just use sometimes references from we were just make screens from scenes, or I just use a text to image, and ideogram this way works much better than Midjourney, for example, or in other tools. We didn't have ChatGPT for creating images. We had only DALL-E 3, and it wasn't so well. Yeah, ideogram was really well because you can feed some picture and it can recreate to another style. I create a prompts with ChatGPT. Like I gave example from scene and ask ChatGPT describe the scene, but with another style, kind of Victorian city with the detective atmosphere. And it created prompts for ideogram, and I use these prompts with screens from scenes to create a new scenes. And then I gave it to team, art team for creating scenes, and then they animated in Runway and Kling AI. For each scenes it will be different, and they use a Runway lip sync, and that moment was really interesting, that you can create a video and use this video for creating lip sync on this video, and that's something new, really. And I so loved that results. And yeah, of course, 11 labs for creating sound design and voices, and surprisingly well sounds a clone. So it sounds so creepy. I like how they find this voice.
What do you think about these? Like, did you come up with those movie references on purpose? Was it like a data-driven decision on, say, our audience is primarily interested in this time period and this type of cinema, and that's why we decided to speak to them by referencing to the very famous movies of their favorite ones? Or was it like that?
That was, yeah, we just had some information that our audience can like King books and movies,
Mm-hmm.
and why we decided work with these references. So yeah, it's that's a reason.
Oh, well, obviously because of the King. Uh, yeah, King. His surname is King. I was just like, King is the game publisher. Why am I referencing for them? But still, his fans like are really into the mysterious things, are really into discover hidden secrets and so on. And I think speaking to the Clockmaker, this is obviously where they intersect, right?
Yeah, it's a kind of the same vibe when we have a detective story in another creative center works well and shows us good results, and it's also why King's movies can reference. I mean, works also so well.
Do you think that's I don't know? Do you have any feeling of what was the performance for this set? Whether did you have a good results? By whether it's the retention or ROS or CPI in some sense for with this ad, or was it just an experiment that didn't went well?
We've got results which we liked. I can't of course share.
Sure, of course. I mean, like the way you read those results is the most important, I would say.
So yeah, we liked the results which we got, and we decided to continue experiments with this format, like full body creatives, stories with some references, or not references, but just stories about detective atmosphere and something creepy scenes. So yeah, we work with this direction, and it's one of the important results that we've got. It's possible to create something new by using AI, and it can look very well. So yeah, experiences also can be just a result.
Speaking from the creative producer standpoint, what seemed to be caught my eye here is that even though all of those references, all of those movies are about the same idea of like exploring hidden mysteries, the style and the period of time for those films is a little bit different from one to one because of that. Say here it's say middle of the last century, like it's 1920s or maybe 1950s, right? When it comes to the movie it's been done for the current timings, if I'm not mistaken. It's like the 21st century. It's a modern time. When it comes to the next picture, there is this Victorian period, but still there is a Godzilla. I mean, the idea is great. I'm a huge fan of it, but still, I think it's like mixing two different realities in my sense. And don't you think it kind of messes the audience engagement with this ad? Did you have any experience when you tried to stick to the one movie or one style, one atmosphere, and did you have any different results from what you had here?
We tried to show there in any scenes, in each scenes, Victorian setting. So it's why we create costumes and whole environment. Yeah, it can look more modern than Victorian setting, but it's because just a reference, they look modern. We didn't have river stocks near the roads in this time. It was a kind of tricky question. How can we show a clone near the road in this small arc? And yeah, we tried to figure out how to show that in Victorian setting. That was interesting. We decided show a lot of different references because we just wanted to use the most interesting reference from a lot of movies, and that sounds like more performing ideas, because yeah, if you will think, maybe our audience like this one movie, it will be more risky just making whole scenes about this movie, and it's also risky for our would say, loyal department.
Yeah, that's kind of actually, if these broadcast guys seem to be really interesting for you and you're into exploring AI yourself, I think we should have some kind of like the second session where we have someone from the legal part explaining us whether we can do such references in the advertising or not, and whether we have some huge fines or not. So yeah, guys, please, if you are interested in such topic, please comment, and it will be interesting to explore. But yeah, did you try Lovecraft? I would definitely go with Lovecraft. Yeah, because of
I like this atmosphere, and I like some arts, and I read a few books, and yeah, but
that's definitely.
Yeah, it can be good, but it's always risky use some references, even if you recreate full scenes.
Of course, yeah,
it's recognizable. Yeah, you have a huge risk anytime.
You have to balance between something recognizable and something that is being protected by law.
yeah.
I don't know, unfortunately, but yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, guys, so we have only a few minutes left, so if you have any questions about implementing AI in your particular cases or some other things to be asked, please share in the comments. I suppose we have only a few examples from the market being out there for us to discuss. So our idea for the last few minutes of this session is to simply explore how other teams out there in the open source internet use AI and kind of share our feelings of why do they do this and whether it's working or not. So yeah, please, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll be reading them through the chat and discussing with the team as well. Yeah, so this is where I decided to bring a few of my examples of the guys using those ads. And I really like this one because of it seemed to be created when the whole ChatGPT image generation trend appeared. They were on the edge of creating Ghibli referenced images. But what seemed to be really interesting for me with the web links and rooms and access game is that if you take a look at those ads right now on AppMagic or any other spy intel, you will recognize that all of those ads they are using are completely AI driven, only pictures on Facebook. And this particular ad seemed to be one of the most top performing one for them, even though the whole Ghibli trend is already done. It's really, really strange for me, but it's interesting. Especially because of like Ghibli is well known for its cute atmosphere and the cozy one, like the Walking Castle or the Totoro. They're all like, aww. And that is this game about the exits and the puzzle escape and the hidden treasures and stuff like you have to have some monsters there, but no.
Oh, it's so cute. We have to risk her. She's in danger. I like it.
Maybe not. Well, what do you think about this approach? Like, have you tried something like that? Or would you like to try something like that?
We tried, of course, ChatGPT for creating banners, and I see how some games, especially Kingshot and Rush,
Royale or
Rush Royale, yeah, use only ChatGPT created banners, and it works so well. And here you can see that text also made in ChatGPT, so it's fully created image without some editing in post-production. So I guess it worked because it's a great idea. You can see a conflict, you can see how she's so close to his phone, and you see like a process of surviving, and you have.
But it's not that dangerous, actually. It's like, oh, maybe she gotta do this or not. It's not really matters.
You have a lot of questions. So this picture shows a lot, actually, about gameplay. You want to help her. You want to tap on this phone. You want to put this phone to her hand. So you just start and process in mind of players, and that's why they so enjoy that, and they just want to continue this scene in the game, and that's why they download it. I like this idea. So it's not only about creating in ChatGPT. The main idea was really well. It's not matter how you create it, but it's great that it's created in ChatGPT because they spend like few minutes for that.
Yeah, I
Because,
mean, like every top performing ad out there, for some reason, once in your lifetime of your game, you will have this shitty ad that being done by like several minutes of one person, and for some reason, it still outperforms any CG that you have in your portfolio.
yeah. You never expect this successful, and you always surprised why it's work.
But I kind
I
of like
like.
the idea of this ad. It's like very cute.
Yeah, just great idea. That's true.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. Please share the presentation after the presentation. Sure, we will do that for sure. I think we will do these following the GDCy chat. So guys, if you are subscribed to their community on Telegram or on Facebook, we will definitely share this presentation with you. Yeah. So the next one of my favorites actually.
Yeah.
I decided to use the one that is not in your Telegram, but out there in the App Magic. I really like this approach of you woke up as blah 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 someone, and it's like, oh god, this is so cool, so atmospheric. You feel yourself being involved into this post-apocalyptic world, and even this shot, by the way, it's like. This is how they do it in the first-person shooter games. And that's how I was kind of surprised by the quality of the generation, because anytime you try to do this with the simple prompts, it breaks by two pieces, two pixels.
Yeah.
And this one is kind of good. And I was like, wow, so cool.
Yeah, you can see like previous mistakes in previous scenes and
Like
exactly here,
like
but
here, you see with the
this
cap.
weapon that's amazing. Yeah.
Kind of messed a little bit, but still. And yeah, I really like this idea of the game. It seemed to be working only for those mid-core games, and the mid-core games historically seem to be the most misleading in the sense of their advertising, just by the since the core gameplay for those games is so complicated, it can't be shown properly in the ads. But of like the idea of you woke up as someone is so cool that I think can be used for any like Tuesday competitors out there. But what surprised me the most is that I Got Games and Doomsday in particular is the only title that seemed to be benefiting from using AI. I've seen no other this is Stalker reference. I've seen no other mid-core game that seemed to be having the same good results with the AI generated content than Doomsday. I'd be really interested in asking the guys the hidden secrets of that, but still, I think the idea is so cool it can be stolen from them and implemented in any of similar games.
Yeah, I like how they just match a lot of different and ideas. So the first idea, I guess, they just wanted to use some TikTok trends like my morning routine. I wake up at 4 a.m. and
wash my face
running.
with the iced water. And
and that's an interesting hypothesis you can implement to your creatives. It's not so banal idea. And the first, so I know that the first shot, the first
this one
frame is so important. Yeah, it's perfect.
So cool, so cool.
Yeah.
Female legs and monsters. What else do you need for an RPG game?
yeah. You can see that legs, you can see that situation, and you can see a monster which being closer to you, and
it provides tension.
Yeah,
so you're like, exactly. I gotta hold my breath.
So when I saw it the first time, I was, oh my god,
yeah,
it's so cool. You want to hide, you can feel that fear from this unrealistic monster. And then, yeah, I like how they use POV video, I mean, POV idea. And especially quality not so bad. And of course, you can see some mistakes, but in common, looks great. And this post-apocalypse atmosphere shows so well. And I like this example.
What I really like about those ads is that compared to the other trend that RPG genre seems to be exploring a lot, these ads don't pretend themselves being something different, because all of those RPG post-apocalyptic ads out there, they always explore the most popular games and cultural things in this genre. There are a lot of The Last of Us references out there in the advertising, and I'm so tired of having those female characters being in some sort of a shop trying to throw the bottles and pretending this is a real actual gameplay when it's not. I'm so tired of it that, like, when I see something like this, I'm like, the idea is the same, but they don't really pretend that this is a game. It's kind of the atmosphere, the feeling. And then I'm like, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Just give me, take my money and give me the game.
It's a cool way just using AI, showing not fake gameplay. Of course, we will do that. Of course, in the future, we'll view 3 or 4 model, but now it's impossible. And now we can just show some emotions through these videos. And that one example looks so fresh and unique. And yeah, that's real cool.
Yeah. And there's another, the last example that I took into this presentation, some example that you have in your Telegram channel. And I think this is a new trend in the sense of AI, implementing AI hooks that I really, really like. When the AI is being brought into the game, you kind of like not having this first 3 seconds out of nowhere doing something and then boom, this is a game. But you kind of like have this seamless transition between those two type of things, and I'm like, damn, from the marketing perspective, it's so smart. I really like it.
It's the last chance to fight.
There's this voice. It's so cool. Like the voice of a commander of a medieval army. Really cool, really nice, really admiring.
That's a great idea. I've never saw that before, and when I saw it first time, I had an idea. Wow.
Yeah, like this transition is so nice.
Yeah, it's so nice, it's so unique, and it's nothing hard to do that. You can create it for like whole day, and it will be not so hard. And they made it so well. So, and we will see that it wasn't like if we see that first scene with this castle on the table, and it means that they wanted to create an intro in this transition to gameplay. That was the main idea, and I don't know how they came up with this idea, but that's so fresh. Maybe they just inspire from this huge table where you can just put
the commander table where you have to plan your next attack. I think strategy. What is especially cool with this approach, to my understanding, is that the idea of a table is so great for Forex strategies because of that it references the high-end gameplay for this game. Because of once you've set with your what is it, like village or castle or something, then there is this global map on which you have to fight others to kind of like steal the resources from them and become even more powerful. And that's how you can actually see. I think the Vikings from trAIn was the first game where I saw that they massively used this global map as the main idea of showing, this PvP type of gameplay that they have. But this one is way better because of that. You see the long-term motivation the first seconds, then you see the core gameplay of the first time user experience for 7 days, and then you're like, okay, so to be this commander, I have to play this type of gameplay to collect these type of coins and progress this way. And that's how I play this game. Okay, I got a feeling. Now I'm ready to play. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. I also I can spend hours for watching their creatives, and they tried to show a gameplay scene in real life. They show it in in a just a real table and try to recreate the scene in real life. They created like an do you know this relax sandboxes? So yeah, they just use these small tools for
Oh yeah, the gardens, like the Asian gardens, right?
yeah, exactly. And they also create some AI videos with these hooks. And so yeah, they have a lot of experiments how to show a first scene in real life, and that one, I guess they can do that much more interesting because it looks like a mid-journey picture, but the results, it's still much more better than another examples, and I really like that. So yeah, just Kingshot, it's so great example of successful game which use a lot different approaches and directions for creating video. I like them. Really, it's so unique and interesting. They use AI for 100%.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
whole
But because they discovered their formula, like this gameplay that is being showed here, it's a little bit different from what they used to have back in the days, because I analyzed those ads like months ago. They have a little bit different, but the core idea is the same. And from my perspective, that once they understood that the core gameplay is set and polished, they have to kind of experiment with the first 3 seconds to kind of extend the idea and the last. So the transition is so nice. I really like it. Yeah. Okay, I think it was the last example in our presentation. Once again, guys, you can take a look at our smiling faces and see that this presentation has been brought to you by me and Dima, working with the mobile ads. And I hope it was really, really interesting and entertaining for you, even though we had some technical issues. So what I gotta do next is I leave you a few minutes to ask us questions if you still have any. But if not, it was a really big pleasure for me to stop presenting this ad. to talk to you today, Dima. It was really nice. And it was really nice to guys have you with us today. Really cool experience. What about you?
Thank you very much for inviting, and that was really interesting. Cool examples, cool approach for creating ideas by using AI. I like this, and I've never seen something like that before because it's so hard to feed whole context about your creatives, your performing creatives. It's hard to describe it. I can't put on a list all my information in my mind. So that's right. It's hard to do that, and it was nice idea using that approach only for UGC hooks, and yeah, I think it can work. Nice job.
Yeah, I hope so, because like, yeah, the potential is so huge. It just explodes my mind, actually. Yeah, I'm trying to have some comments from the chat, but seem to be the guys are chilling. Okay. Yeah, so in any case, guys, thank you very much. It was really nice talking to you. I think we will share this presentation with the GDCy team soon, and you will have an opportunity to explore it yourself. And of course, if you have any interest in exploring these topics more, please follow Dima's Telegram channel or mine Telegram channel. We both have to.
Also great, I like it. I read the posts, and it's gives me a lot of information about the market. I like this deconstruction, 80 seconds of creatives. It wasn't so easy, I know that, and I'm glad that someone do that.
Thanks.
Cool,
Thanks a lot. Yeah, guys, have a good time. Take care.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah, cool. Let me just end this conversation like this.